Okay. Um, Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tom's Guitar Show. I'm Tom. They call me Guitar Tom because I'm often seen with a guitar. And back when this is a call-in show, they used to call me on the phone and ask me questions like, "Hey, man, what's your show about?" I say, "About an hour." Hang on. About guitar players, guitar playing, all things guitaristic. So we entertain questions and comments and complaints about guitars, care and feeding of one's guitar, how to play the guitar, what kind of guitar is right for you. Related topics like the guitarrón, the guitarra, the sitar, chitole, lutes, ouds, vihuelas, banjos, balaicas, bazookies, bajos, sextos, and bajos cincos, and of course cavaquinhos, bandurias, and bandoras, and bandolims, and mandolins, and mandoras, mandocellos, you know.
Irish harps, pixie harps, and Jews harps.
There you go. Trombones and trombomarinas, clarinets, clavinets, and clavichords.
Dulcimers, dobros, and didgeridoos.
There's some of those too. Did I say the harmonicas, harmoniums, and harpsichords? You know, pipe organs, piccolos. I don't know if I even said this yet. Timbales or tubas. How's that?
And if anyone has a question about that stuff, our control room staff will put up a Twitter address. Or is it a Twitter address?
Yeah, I think it's a Twitter thing. Yeah.
Something where they can write to you, and you will still answer those questions.
We were thinking about having an active tweet thing, but we also talk about politics, world events, and people's personality problems. But, you know, we try to keep it clean. This is a family program. All right, so in full disclosure, I had grandiose plans for this show. Because I have these kind of bright, shiny electric guitars, and I've got this sort of like jazz guitar, sort of jazz-like guitar, finger-style thing I like to do. Last week, after the show, I went into Gerardo's office, and we were talking about this or that, and I started a coughing fit, which I continued until, well, it's really never ended. I mean, I think the worst of it ended yesterday. I woke up without quite so much coughing problems. And I went through 3 bottles of Robitussin. There actually was the high-V Tussin DM. But my face swelled up. And I don't know if you can see it, but I mean, it's not so bad, but there's really like sticking out in a strange way, comical way. Probably an allergic reaction to something. So I stopped taking the Tussin. And I'm still doing some coughing. I haven't... Actually, I haven't been out of the house for a few days. This is the first time I've been out of the house. So I'm in this distress. So what I did instead was to bring this this old Spanish, well, not old, this is very new Spanish guitar, an Alhambra. It's kind of a somewhat less expensive, because I have other guitars. Spanish, nylon string guitar. So kind of a prosaic, but it's also really cold outside, so I just put this in a bag and take it. And I find this is a very handy guitar because it plays pretty well. It sounds pretty good. What was that loop I was doing before the show? Here we go.
say if you treat a cold,
Yeah.
you'll get over it in about 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
If you don't, it'll probably last 14 days.
Oh, well, there you go. That's what I need then, huh? Yeah. Yeah, there they all are out there. Look at them. We're being observed.
Ah,
We have some observers observing us.
some career shadowers.
Yeah,
And they know that Tom and I are in the big money,
that's right.
so this is the career they want to shadow.
Well, there's room for advancement. I've been doubling Bob's pay every year. You've only been here like 15 years, right? Something like that.
That's not that long, I don't think. Well, 05. So it's coming up on 14 years, I guess.
Okay, only 14 years. Okay, well. So,
Tom's Guitar Show, I gave you all the best years of my life.
that's right. There's a Joni Mitchell lyric, I think. I gave you all my pretty years. And
Yes, I can hear you.
so, yeah, never mind.
And Mac Davis's Rock and Roll, I gave you all the best years of my life.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember.
Sorry. Gerardo gave me one of those Ricolo things to suck on. I don't know if I really want to, man. With my experience, I'm not sure what made my face swell up, but like I was telling him out front, I mean, it looks. I mean, my face is like a little bit, sticking out more than usual, but it was way out there yesterday, and even earlier today, it's starting to slowly shrink. But like I was saying, I was getting in touch with my Neanderthal ancestors. So,
Well, they really do make those things in the Alps.
oh yeah,
Over in Austria or Switzerland, someplace over in there.
I thought it was Switzerland because they had the big horn things,
Well, they got Alps in Austria and Italy, too.
That's right. France. French Alps.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah. I've actually been to the Alps more than once.
I've been to them once.
Oh. How was it?
Just fine.
Okay.
I had a video camera along, couldn't get my wife to skip along over the Alps singing The Hills Are Alive, but
Yeah.
and she didn't sing Edelweiss either.
What?
She didn't sing Edelweiss either.
Oh, yeah. I had my own words for this when I was a kid. No, alewives. And then they're, see, there are these little fishes, these alewives. Like in Lake Michigan, they spawn and then they die. And then they wash up on the beach, which is kind of slightly unpleasant. I don't know about you, but I've shared my life with dogs. And my dog, Pungloss, is a water dog. So he liked to swim. And that was great to jump in the water. Of course, you have a wet dog. And then he rolled in the alewives, the dead fish. Alewives, alewives, stinky little silver fishes. Anyway, never mind.
We had a dog that every time she got out went and found something dead to roll in.
Yeah, of course. That's dog perfume. So somebody asked me just the other day, because my cat went up, mom of a student, cat got upset in her lap and asked if cats like to roll in dead things, stinky things. And I said, no, cats are self-cleaning, and they have the highest standard for their hairstyle and everything,
Right.
which is one of the modest advantages of the cat over the dog. But I had both for many years, I would say it was kind of fun to watch the cat rub up against the dog's legs, because he was like to rub back and forth on your legs, so he rubbed the dog's legs too. And
We had dogs, and then when the last dog died, I thought we were out of the livestock business, and then my wife went and got cats.
yeah, it happens.
What else should our viewer know about that guitar?
I don't know. It's the one I've been playing Tuscan Moon a lot this winter because it's been so cold.
Are you playing there this week?
I certainly hope so. I took the weekend off. I called in sick 2 days in a row.
Ah,
And I was supposed to start teaching school yesterday, but that's when I looked like had a chimpanzee mouth, and but I'm hoping to. And then next week,
should we mention that the Tuscan Moon is in downtown Kelowna?
come on in, I don't care. Come on in and make noise, I don't care. Just let's have some adventures.
Parade them past the camera.
Yeah,
Step over there behind
come
Tom.
on, everybody.
Line up behind Tom and introduce yourselves.
I'm all right. Somebody should zoom out or something in that camera.
Well, we got a camera operator over here. He's looking the wrong direction.
Yeah, look at, there we go.
Let's see our visitors.
Yeah, look at him there. Okay.
For once in my life, I'm too tall.
Yeah, I'm, well, we get you all a chair, but we probably don't have enough, so, here, let's see. Okay, there we go. All right then, look at them all. So who are you guys? What's going on here? They'll probably hear you through this.
We're job shadowing.
Oh,
Yeah. City High,
Seat in my con.
Williamsburg?
West Branch.
we say Williamsburg?
Yep.
Oh, okay. West Branch, you say?
Yep.
Okay. City High?
Yeah, us too.
Okay. Well, no, I went to City High once upon a time.
So is this part of the
Back
class?
in the olden days, yeah.
Yes. For an English class, we have to job shadow and do a reflection on it.
Really? Uh-oh. How are you going to reflect on this experience? Say,
If you're looking for a high-income career, Tom and I have that nailed down.
that's right, yeah. Yeah. He, actually, Bob gets paid exactly the same as me.
And he doubles my pay every year.
That's right. You know how when you multiply by 0?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So what we're, you're shadowing, video, media? Is that the name of it, media?
Broadcasting and television.
Broadcasting television, yeah. Well, that's what we are, cable casting and television. And internets, too. We put this on YouTube, so.
Really?
Oh, yeah, I hope
Yeah,
so.
just look up, search for Tom's Guitar Show on YouTube.
You know, I hope they push the button on this, but we're trying to get it, because we had this, we had an issue with loading up, because we used to load up every single show on my Tom's Guitar Show YouTube channel, and then things changed in the schedule, and one thing led to another, and, see, listen, I'm talking to you, but I'm looking at you in the monitor. Never look at the monitor. Anyway, okay, but anyway, so it's probably gonna be on the PATV station channel on
Since the
YouTube.
control room went to camera 2, now you can look at the monitor and talk to the audience.
Yeah. Hi, Mom. Anyway, so
Yeah. Hi, Shelley.
yeah. Who knows? You could conceivably relive the agony of this over and over again on YouTube
For the rest of your
Really?
lives.
years to come. Yeah, until they manage to pull it down somehow. But
And this repeats on this channel Friday night, so if you want to see yourselves,
Yeah.
if you have cable,
channel 18 Friday night.
I was going to ask how many of you have cable, but I don't want to because I don't want to.
No.
That's okay. It's okay. See, my grandpa has cable. They'd say anyway. So I should have said that because we're a cable station.
Yeah, but give it a couple days and then search for Tom's Guitar Show on YouTube.
Well, it should be. You know, if they did what I hope they did, it's actually streaming live, so it will be on the channel as soon as the show's over. That's the new regime.
It hasn't been lately.
But it's on the PATV show. That station, or the channel, not the Tom's Guitar Show one.
Yeah, channel 18.
Yeah.
It's PATV's channel.
But it was on last week.
Right after the show, or is
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know if it's right after the show or not.
so maybe it's on tonight.
I
Why
don't
don't
get
you play
around.
us some guitar?
Some guitar. How about this guitar? You got rock and roll. Anyway, or you know that song, right?
Yeah, they're probably too young for rock and roll. What do kids listen to these days?
They listen to auto-tune.
Hi, Easton.
Yeah, rap music. I'm not exactly sure what kind of guitar player I'd
Do
be
any of you
considered.
know who Bill Haley in the comments were?
No. I'm sure my dad would, though.
Yeah.
At Brian.
Well, see, I grew up as a classical guitarist, so if you want oldies, I'll go That's an oldie.
I'm a fan of the classics. I was just listening to Fats Domino today.
Oh, there you go. But, yeah. So, you guys play music at all? Any of you guys in music?
Yeah.
Listen.
You don't play like clarinet in the marching band or anything like that, do you? Any of you?
I play cello.
Really? Oh, yeah. I do too, but I'm not very good, so.
Me neither.
Oh, there you go. All right, we have something in common.
Can you play your guitar like standing up like this?
That's straight up like that, you mean?
Yeah.
I could. I can do that.
You ought to see him play at duck walking like Chuck Berry.
Yeah, well, I'm plugged in. I can't do that. Also, I'm just getting over whatever this cough was, so I'm not going to get up. But no, there's a lot of ways you can play a guitar. I'm kind of doing like a. So, as a guitarist, I mean, when I was at City High, I played string bass in the orchestra, and I played guitar in the jazz band, and I sang in the choir. So I was a music department nerd. I don't know if you still have it over there, but right past the auditorium there was a music department, right?
Yeah,
They
it just
had-
got remodeled.
yeah, that's what I heard. I haven't been there. My son went to City High, actually. Yeah.
Sing something for us.
Oh man, I can't sing. I coughed all week. I was trying to sing a song about alewives, and I couldn't do that. And I used to sing like folk, like, "Ain't no use to sit and wonder why, babe, if you don't know by now." I
We
can't-
asked, do you know who Dylan is?
Bob Dylan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the poet, Nobel laureate
Well,
poet.
Tom will play anything you can sing.
Well, I can. See, I can't sing right now, but I can play the instrumental. I'll put the
Nobody
melody.
wants to sing one, you can play it.
Yeah, I'll put the melody like on top of the accompaniment.
So who knows the Dylan song?
It's too bad I can't sing, and you can't like all like do the moves and then sing the chorus. You know?
It's too
Uh,
bad.
Hey,
Yeah.
dancing's all right, go ahead.
Yeah. Any of you guys dancers?
Well, there's one right there, she was dancing to that.
I mean, when I say dancer, you mean like your dance department or something, or like dance lessons, dance classes, or just like the, you know?
Well, didn't every girl take them when they were like 4, like a kid?
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, right.
that and gymnastics.
Oh yeah, gymnastics. Yeah.
Didn't you get a semester of it in PE or something?
Oof.
Yeah, square dance.
Square dancing. Oh, there you go. That's a trend that's sweeping the nation.
But everybody that does it's as old as we are.
I suppose, yeah. I've known. I mean, I've been working with choreographers and stuff. I think I was just reminiscing about that to some poor victim yesterday or something. But that I had the two ballet dancers. They were dancing a thing to a classical guitar piece written by a 20th century Brazilian composer. So it was a little bit like. It's like all over the place, right? It's kind of cool. It's Villalobos Preludes. But the thing was, as far as like having to, see, if you're a musician, sometimes, especially when you're doing some sort of program music, you got to lay every note in exactly the right spot at the right time. You can't just like do what feels good, because at any given point, that one guy, he might have been holding her up, with one hand. He had her this turn around, and he had it in one hand for. So I was afraid that if I actually played, the wrong note or the wrong time, he'd drop her, and her injuries would all be my fault for screwing up the guitar part. So that's why you practice, you see. And never mind.
Or play jazz.
That's right. The jazz doesn't matter what you do. Like. Anyway, that's yeah. I'm just See, now I'm just wasting everybody's time. So, hey, man, what do you do? We had, you don't dance, right, or take dance classes, or what, so?
Play sports.
Oh.
That's pretty much it.
Like, what kind of sport are you into?
Football, basketball, track,
Okay.
typical.
Well, don't let them bang you in the head too hard, because,
Well, then you probably know, take me out to the ball game.
A little bit.
yeah.
Sing it for us.
Yeah.
I'm not a good singer.
Hell, you're going, okay, then don't, that's fine, then don't sing it. You know, that's when they you know, there's somebody say, I'm not a good singer, and they talk them into it anyway, you say, thanks, man.
Yeah, then they prove
And
it.
then you regret it, like, instantly.
Yeah, just say, leave the guy alone, man, you know. I don't have to hear him, yeah. Let's let people do what they're good at. And, see. They'd be like me, like I'm a low-rent music instructor or whatever, but I say, well, okay, so then we want you to come over and fix our plumbing.
Yeah.
And say, wrong guy, sorry. So,
Then sometimes you know those people that can just do everything.
yeah.
Like they play instruments, they're handy.
We've heard about them. I don't know if we've ever met any.
Yeah,
Does that.
it could be one of those things, you know, like, see, I knew a woman, she's German, she said that that she'd actually seen the Schnickelfritzes, which is like a German leprechaun, in the Black Forest. And sometimes they pop out, you know, and wink at her, you know. I said, okay, I've heard these things. I don't know if it's true. Actually, I mean, I don't know. I need more evidence than somebody telling me this to believe in Schnickelfritzes. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever, you know, heard of Schnickelfritz, but it's just a German leprechaun. You know, leprechauns. If you want to really annoy somebody from Ireland, just talk about Lucky Charms. And they're magically delicious. And then,
Everyone in my family loves those, especially my brother.
ew. Oh, yeah, sorry. Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm trying to stay off the sugar, you know, it's terribly addictive, and I wonder how much you have to pay me to eat a Lucky Charm. Or, you know, every man has his price, is what they say, don't you think, Bob?
$5.
$5 wouldn't do it.
10?
You gotta put a lot more zeros behind that, you know?
10,000?
I might eat a bowl of Lucky Charms for $10,000, but I try to keep more like 100,000. Now, if, you know, it is possible you can get a 5.2% return on an investment. So for $1 million, you can conceivably have $1,000 a week for life. But, you know, you can still get the
The
job.
first million's always the hardest.
Can I take the students back?
Okay, they're leaving. It's been fun.
Bye-bye.
I think we've solved a lot of the world's problems together. And
Bye.
Come back and see us. We're here every week.
Try.
come back and join the organization if you want. You could be a TV star and a producer.
And watch yourselves on YouTube.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, that degenerated to me talking about Lucky Charms. I think it's really all my fault. But I just defend myself. I'm not playing with a full deck. I've been sick all week, and it slows your brain down too, as you can probably tell.
Well, no, I really couldn't.
Anyway. Our green screen is showing. Sorry, did it again. Yeah. Crimea River. Right. One thing I think is somewhat distasteful is when people are, of course, dismissing others' feelings. They start saying, Crimea River, Crimea River, Crimea. And they don't sing the song properly. If you're going to dismiss somebody else's emotions by singing Crimea River, at least you should sing the melody correctly. There was an event some years ago, which it's sort of like in the men's rights movement in Canada. There was always a conference. They were trying to have a conference about some of the problems that young men face in college and so forth. The falling behind, like dropping out, not getting in college in the first place, and then the high suicide rate. And this was protested by people. I don't know what they were protesting or why, but and then there's one woman who was really obnoxious with bright red hair, not unnaturally dyed. And the guy was saying, well, what about the suicide rate? He said, cry me a river, cry me a river. And then that caused ripples throughout Canadians aren't always polite. Never mind. It's a viral YouTube video. But so I saw there's Big Red. They call it Big Red because of her red, bright red hair. And but she didn't sing the song anywhere near properly. If she really wanted to be a pill, she could have said, cry me a river, cry me a river. But then, of course, the next line is, I cried a river over you. Never mind.
Well, most of them seem to fit the stereotype, though.
What?
The Canadians
Oh, yeah, well,
all seem pretty friendly.
I would say friendly, but polite anyway.
Yeah, polite.
But
We were up there one time, went to the grocery store, and the guy was out collecting shopping carts went by and said, good day, eh? I thought, oh, I just like on TV.
yeah.
This really must be Canada.
Yeah? Well, in Ontario, I guess that's a regional thing or something, but they have different accents. But I've actually not been in Canada very much. I went there on vacation when I was quite young, and we went there a few times when I was a kid. And there's also one way to drive. My father's from upstate New York, and you got to get around the Great Lakes. So one way you can do it is to go over the top, you see, as opposed to underneath. And we had this one route, and then also we took a ferry boat a long time ago when I was a kid, and went to French Canada. And my parents, were both French teachers, and so I, but there are a lot of Canadians around here. They come down here. I mean, most of them live near the border anyway. And some people say, okay, I give up. I'm going farther south because it's kind of cold, I mean, as cold as it's been here in Iowa, people say, yeah, it's way colder up in Minnesota. I say, oh, okay. But after that, there's a whole other country up there.
It's colder yet.
That's right. So, we got the Alberta Clipper. Well, the air came from Alberta, so, and so I think, oh, geez. But, so I've known a lot of Canadians over the years, and a lot of them you couldn't even tell unless they mention it, like, there's like William Shatner, of course, there are lots of famous, and Lauren Green, from Bonanza, Canadian, but just like in my own circulation through the world, and just, living in Iowa and living in California and stuff like that where I've lived, you keep running into Canadians, and a lot of times they want to mention it. So they want you to, oh, none of the stuff you Americans do is my fault because I'm a Canadian. See, that's kind of attitude. So
Yeah, we usually go up there about every 2 or 3 years. We take the shortcut through, where do I go? Through Washington, Seattle on the way home. Mm-hmm. And while we're there, every 2 or 3 years, we'll go over to Vancouver, spend a day over there.
I heard Vancouver's really fun. I've never been that far. I've been to Seattle a bunch of times, as far as and the Pacific Northwest. But I've never been up to Vancouver. I've gone to
Like Seattle, there are an awful lot of Asians in Vancouver.
right. Well, there are a lot of Asians in the world.
Yeah.
They're starting to move around more. That's all. You notice them more. But yeah. Speaking of immigrants and so forth like that, I was just thinking about the big thing about people talking about this week. Although there's a lot of other things going on besides Trump's, talking about Africa. A lot of other things happening people aren't even talking about because they're too busy talking about the Africa thing. Which maybe we should talk about those too because those are important. But I was thinking about living. So I grew up in Iowa City, and I've lived here. I lived 3 years in San Francisco. So and then I was in France for a while, But yeah, mostly lived my life in Iowa City, and you've got to fight your battles here. But I've had a lot of experience with, foreigners, like ever since childhood, grade school, and I've had friends, from some of these countries, people I hang around with. I had a friend for a while. He moved on, but he was from Nigeria, and in a lot of ways we were the same kind of guy. We had a lot of, we got along. We were like the same kind of guy. He had an accent. He looked different accent, looked different from me, but we had a lot in common. We used to go to the gym, we'd lift weights, and spot each other. And, No, so I mean, I've had this experience where the people from other countries don't seem that different. You know, there's just like more people. Like, I mean, individually, people might be very different from other. You know, like people. Some people get along with real well, and some people not so well. Some people you might agree with in a lot of things. But I've certainly known, you know, people from Africa, Middle East, of course, Asia. But I guess Asians are not. They're not. They're glad to have the Asians or something. The people who don't like the immigration or whatever. And of course, certainly a lot of people from some would call Latin America. But see, the thing is, like growing up and hanging around with people from these other places, and then you quickly realize that people are just people.
Yeah.
So that's just what I think. I mean, that's the perspective. If anybody happens to watch this on YouTube from a coast, they say, well, those are the flyover state people who think these things, you know. I will just say that as a flyover, like, how much more flyover can you get than Iowa? You know, just growing up with people, you know, friends from other countries. When I was a kid, it was more like European countries and stuff, you know, that I knew in school. In fact, I think I knew a Norwegian. I didn't even know he was a Norwegian because his English was perfect. He'd been here long enough, you know, we're elementary school kids. But I knew Hispanics and certainly Africans growing up. And,
You know, the people on the coast think there's nothing here but corn.
right.
And we have soybean and hogs, too.
That's right, we do have. And chickens. And turkey farms. Yeah. But yeah, anyway. We also have immigrants. So I did have that experience. So I used to have some students a long time ago when I taught at West Music from India. There's a woman who worked at the music store who was from Williamsburg, I guess, and she was a little bit more provincial than a lot of us. So these guys, and so I had one guy, and then I brought two more. So I had like three guys from India who'd come for lessons every week, guitar lessons, and yeah, they're nice guys. They were smart. They're here like studying engineering, hydraulics, whatever. But they had, you know, one guy was Sridhar Gopalaswamy, or something like that, and she thought that was hilarious, and also their accent, you know, the kind of Hindi accent. Is humorous to some people, but I gotta say I'm pretty used to it, and just like people from India are just more people, you know. I mean, I've certainly known some people from India. Some of them take guitar lessons. I'm sorry. Here we go again. So that's what I say as a flyover, is that as far as immigration is concerned, and as far as people in general, I mean, like race or whatever national background, they're people just people, and you'll find all my life since I was a little kid, I've noticed that they're people that I you know, have a lot in common with and get along with just great, who are have a different, you know, ethnic background from me, or maybe they just only been here for a couple of years, and also I think there are a whole lot of people who, you know, have had the same experience as me. You know, you get used to people from, you know,
Yeah.
Jordan, or you know, yeah. I mean, if there's not a serious language barrier, that helps a lot too. But Nigeria, there are a lot of Nigerians running around. You know.
Well, there aren't. I thought that because we had a bunch of them working with us at the university for a while, and man, there must be a lot of them here. And then they had one of their revolutions over there, and couldn't get any money out of the country for a while, so a bunch of them couldn't make their U-bill. So the university was talking about suspending them, and there were like 60 Nigerians in the whole university at the time, or 60 Nigerian students. You know, I think we had about 6 or 8 of them working with us, so I thought the place was full of them. But
I see. Well, maybe there aren't that many of these people. They just like to hang around with me or something. I don't know.
well, I think what happens is, you know, one of them gets an apartment somewhere, and the others move in around him, and or one of them gets a job somewhere and brings his buddies over to get jobs there too. So when you see one, you see several.
Well, I had one guy from Indonesia who took lessons from me. He was here to study education. He was an older fellow, but he's a teacher. We wanted to learn how to play folk guitar, kind of like Pete Seeger style. And I happen to know that subject. So I was teaching him, and then, and then a couple more guys came, and then I was up to 7 Indonesians. And then, by the next year they were all gone, And I don't know how many Indonesians there were around, but I had 7 of them coming to me as clients at one point. So, but, I mean, to think that you would dislike somebody because they were Indonesian or something like that, and not because of who they actually were as an individual, or that you like somebody because they're, whatever they are, Norwegian or something like that. Because they're Norwegian, seems like really weird to me, because you could know a Norwegian who is a real jerk. I mean, they have them, I mean, everybody has. All cultures have jerks, and they have, good people and a lot of people in between. But I mean, it's my observation. Okay, you could know a Norwegian jerk.
We had an Indonesian girl worked with us for a while. That said when she went home on breaks and things, everybody laughed at her because she learned to speak English in Iowa and spoke it properly.
Oh,
And her friends back home had all learned it in England and talked with that funny accent they've got.
oh, I see. Here we go. I'm sorry. There we go. I mean, I was a kid in France, and I took English class. it was my easiest class, except that, I mean, I learned things like 2 weeks is a fortnight, but you see, I mean, I speak a dialect of English rather fluently, I think, but so.
Well,
Anyway.
that's a term that used to be here. I know the church my parents went to had a fortnightly club
Oh, I see.
that met every other week.
They might have done it just because they heard some English people say it, but
Could be.
or maybe the church was your church from England or
No, it was, well, kind of. It was a Presbyterian church, which is mostly Scottish.
Scottish, yeah. Well, speaking of the S-hole countries, Scotland would be probably there in the old days anyway, wouldn't it? You're from the lowlands or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be that would fit. I got the Irish. That would definitely qualify. But sorry. That one camera that sort of shows it. Sorry. That one camera tends to show everybody that this isn't really this beautiful studio, but merely a green wall.
Yeah.
Sorry. I don't know if well, I only have about 6 or 7 minutes left in this show. I will say that for most of the week, last week, I was coughing like this more or less constantly, as opposed to having a fit every couple of hours. So, anyway. If I were French, I'd say, "Ça continue." I'm going to say it anyway. I don't. You don't have to be.
Which means what?
It keeps going.
Oh,
Ça continue means continues. It's my cough. I can say whatever I want, right?
it's your show.
That's right.
Get your name right on it.
That's right. Speak. Say something off color in German if I. Well, not too off color. Anyway. Yeah, when I burst into my coughing fit last week in Gerardo, who's our fearless leader here, executive director, he was in his office, started coughing. I couldn't stop. And then I kind of got over it a little bit and then went home. But I thought, okay, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll be fine. And didn't work out that way. Anyway, so if I
This time next week, you ought to be all right.
hope so, maybe they can have a little memorial. You won't be here, though, will you? You'll be out there
I'll
snowbirding.
be on the road.
Yeah? A snowbird? Yeah? Well,
Actually, I should be off the road by then.
will you be there in Las Vegas?
Should be.
Are you leaving like Thursday or something, you think? Or?
Well, no, Thursday. My car is going to be in the shop. Friday.
Well,
I was kind of planning on Thursday, but then they told me my car was leaking oil, so.
maybe it's something serious. You won't be able to leave on Friday. Maybe you'll be back on the show next week.
Either that or it'll go in my car.
Oh, I see.
My wife was really dreading that.
Because you got a little, older car? Like a,
Well, yeah, mine's older, but it's little.
no, I see.
Yeah, I drive a Vibe. She's got a big caravan.
Oh, I see. And you got to take those cats with you, too.
Yeah.
Do you put them in a cage or anesthetize them or anything, or they just
No, we just let them run loose. And
Yeah?
we keep leashes on them because they kind of like to run over underneath my feet while I'm driving, so she grabs the leash to pull them out from underneath my
Oh,
feet.
yeah, that makes sense, yeah. I had a cat like that, but the cat I'm living with now, if I were going to take her to the vet, I got to put her in the cat carrier.
Ours just drive you nuts if they're in a cat carrier. The one rubs the skin right off her nose,
Yeah.
but they both scream and yowl and carry on until you let them out.
Well, our cat we used to have, Torben the Wonder Kitty, who I put him in a cat carrier. He couldn't get him in because his head would always turn, and then so I just take him, put him under my arm, put him in the car, and he'd go look at the cows along the side and stuff like that. He's fine, and then I would go to the vet. He'd get up on my shoulder, I'd walk in with him on my shoulder, and then when I get to the observation room or whatever, the table, I'd just tap on it, and he'd jump down there. So anyway, I think that's about it for this show. Isn't it?